Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 4, right? Yeah, episode 4 of season 3. Wow, it is flying on by. We're about to enter week 4 of the regular season. Regular season, I feel like just started a week or two ago. This is
Yeah,
insane. It always goes by so fast.
true.
Anyways, we are your hosts, Adam.
Dante?
And Luke,
As always, happy to have you along with us. Whether you are watching live after the premiere, whether you're watching on your own time, happy to have you here with us. So, we're not going to bother talking about how we did on our predictions individually last week because,
Uh,
spoiler, other than Luke, it wasn't that great.
yeah,
You could
and I evened it out by giving some pretty awful fantasy football suggestions.
yeah.
see our records in the bottom of your screen right there. Um, yeah, not as good as they were the week before, but that's okay. We'll look to fix that today.
Yeah, let's do it.
Um,
Anyway,
Anyways, starting off, we have our fantasy football leaders of the week. As always, ESPN PPR format. So this week there are no ties. We just have 10 players. Um, Starting off at number 10, man, he had a fantastic game on Monday Night Football. 28.06 points for Jaden Daniels, quarterback of the Washington Commanders. Really had a coming out party that game. He is fantastic.
yeah.
Number 9, speaking of rookies, Malik Neighbors makes his way into that spot, 28.2 points this week. Number 8, we had 29.1 for Rashee Rice, receiver of the Chiefs.
Big pickup.
What'd you say?
I picked him up off waivers. I'm balling right now.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Number 7, we had 29.8. Finally making his way onto here, Jamar Chase of the Bengals. We'll get to their team in a little bit. Oh, boy. Number 6, 29.86 for Dak Prescott, just barely beating out Jamar Chase. Number 5, we have 30.4 for Josh Allen. Number 4, or no, I'm sorry, that was number 4. Let's go backwards. Number 5 was Derrick Henry with 30.4, 30.92 at number 4 for Josh Allen. Mistakes happen, y'all.
Yeah,
Number 3, 31.6 for Rams running back Kyren Williams. Had a pretty good game. On to number 2, 33.6. Penn State legend, Dante's Offensive Player of the Year pick, Saquon Barkley, having a great season. And number 1, the man on your screen, not in the white jersey, in the red jersey, the man I would have never expected to see a number 1 on a fantasy list, 46.5 points for Juwan Jennings,
unreal.
wide receiver of the 49ers. Anyways, let me just make sure of something real quick. Yeah, okay. So we do have some players on this list this week with their second appearance of the year, and those players are Saquon Barkley, Josh Allen, Malik Neighbors, and Jaden Daniels. Second appearance on the top 10 this year. Everyone else is your first. If you don't have those players in fantasy, you have a spot and they're available for some reason, pick them up. Make a trade for these guys. They're proven to be league winners so far.
True. Very true.
But anyways, moving on, we get into the fun stuff. Week 4. Do we want to talk about our individual teams first or just pick the games? What do we want to do?
I'm
Uh,
okay with just talking about the Patriots when we come up to their game, but I understand if you guys want to talk about your two teams more.
I was going to suggest the same thing, Luke. Let's just do that.
Yeah, let's just do it when we get to our game. That's fine. I know the Carolina game is second on the list. So,
Yeah.
all right, starting with week 4 prediction Thursday night football, an old NFC East matchup, Cowboys and Giants. Both teams 1 and 2. Shockingly, maybe both teams 1 and 2. What are we thinking, guys?
I can go first.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to go with Dallas. Um, they put up, even though they did put up a pretty lackluster performance against the Ravens last Sunday or last week. Um, Uh, I I think they should take care of business here in a divisional game. They made I watched the majority of this game and they made a pretty strong push. Almost made a very impressive comeback in the fourth quarter. They were down 28-6 and only lost 28-25. So the offense put together, but I don't know, man. Their defense does look kind of suspicious. But I think they'll get a break here, and I think Dallas will win this game.
Luke, you want to go?
Yeah, I can go because I agree with that. This is coming from somebody who correctly predicted the Giants' upset win over Cleveland last week, and I know Dante was very happy that I was right about that.
Best day of my life. Oh my God.
And so, occasionally we'll have those games where, like, wait a second, just how bad have we been convinced that Daniel Jones is? But I don't think they're a matchup here that I don't think they match up well with the Cowboys, and we know how this has gone in the past, especially in recent history. The Cowboys, they can underperform as much as they want. They do quite often. They have quite a bit to start the year. But one thing that tends to stay consistent is divisional play with them. And that is if you're in their division and you aren't a good football team, they will remind you of that by destroying you in a way that should maybe shouldn't even be legal. And I think we're going to see something like that this game because I think the Cowboys need to get on track. And I think Mike McCarthy knows they need to get on track.
All right, I'll make it easy. I'll clean sweep to start the episode. I'll go with the Cowboys as well. Like I said, Dallas is really not the team we expected them to be so far. The team that we saw in the first week of the season, the team that steamrolled over the Browns. But I think they'll rebound this week. I think they'll get a good get back game on Thursday night. I will say this though, I think we're going to see a touchdown from Malik Neighbors in this game. It's happened at least once the last 2 weeks. Why not happen this week? So I'll say that. But Cowboys for sure. All right, moving on. And boy, let me talk about this for a second. The first 3 games of the season have all ended with me saying the same phrase. What the heck happened? But last week it was in a good way.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton went out there, turned back the clocks, made our team look like a completely different offense, defense, whole team, period. Raiders, what happened? How did you lose to the 2024 Carolina Panthers? That looked like the worst team in NFL history through the first 2 weeks of the season. But you know what they say, the most dangerous man is a man with nothing to lose. And Andy Dalton had nothing to lose in that game. Went out there, slinged the rock across the field the whole game, threw a bunch of touchdowns. The only bad part about the game was Adam Thielen's hamstring injury, which has landed him on IR. Hate to see that, but Chuba Hubbard looked great. Dante, your boy Deontay Johnson looked great.
So proud. So happy for
Yes, sir. O-line looked fantastic. Defense looked much, much better. We allowed a few late touchdowns toward the end, but it was at a point where the game was pretty much decided, so that's okay. And then segueing into this game, we actually are the team with the better record, believe it or not. We're probably not the team who is favored, but this may be my only chance to use this ticket, but this is my upset of the week. I'm going to ride with the hot hand and take Carolina at home to beat the Bengals. I fully understand if you guys pick Cincinnati, even though they are 0-3, they are probably favored in this game. But why not Andy Dalton start a little redemption arc? This is actually the first of a few of his former teams that he is playing this season, assuming he plays most of the year. He's got Cincy this week. He's got Chicago the following week. I'm pretty sure New Orleans a few weeks after that. He's got Dallas at one point in the season. So this is going to be Andy Dalton trying to take out his former squads that gave up on him. So I'd love to see us get another win. Hey, make it interesting. Why not? So give me the Panthers.
wonderful. Luke?
That is wonderful and good for you that you feel confident enough to do that, but I don't.
Fair enough.
We have a cat fight here, Bengals, Panthers. Give me the Bengals. I do think that, like the Cowboys, they know they have to get back on track. And I think, unlike the Cowboys, the Bengals are going to end up being a serious team by the end of these 17 games. And that's going to start somewhere. And look, Andy Dalton is a story. The NFL likes stories. The NFL likes these stories of these veterans coming off the bench and saying, look how we did it in the 2010s. Just because I haven't been told that I can't also means that it doesn't mean that I can't. And so they go out and what did he do? Threw 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think he was the first quarterback to do that this year until Josh Allen a night or two later. So listen, I will be cheering for Carolina. I think they have a chance, but it would need to be in front of a packed crowd. I think they would really need to pick apart that defense. The Carolina defense would need to be consistent the entire time. What you don't really get with Vegas is a consistent down the field threat. I know they have Devontae Adams. Antonio Pierce was alluding to the fact that he wasn't happy. It seems like Devontae Adams was checked out of the game. You saw videos of him on the sideline looking frustrated. Joe Burrow is going to get the ball to his playmakers. We saw it in the 90-second drive. People are forgetting about the 90-second drive they had at the end of the game on Monday night just because they lost, but the Bengals can score points when they need to. And as impressive as Jaden Daniels was against the Bengals last week, the Bengals still scored in the 30s. I think it would take a shootout to beat them again, and I'm not sure that the Panthers, especially now without Thielen, have the firepower. So maybe in a shootout, but I do have the Bengals finally getting their first win.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Luke here. Adam, my apologies. I'll
It's
be
okay. It's okay.
rooting for the Panthers, like they're the Steelers, to be quite honest with you, because if the Bengals start out 0-4, that'd be just outstanding. But I think one thing Bengal haters and Bengal criticizers are looking over is the fact that their offense has been pretty solid these first 3 weeks. I honestly forget who they lost to in week one. It's escaping me. But last week against Washington, offense put up 30 plus points. Week two against the Chiefs, offense put up 24 points, I believe. So their offense is scoring. It's their defense that is really holding them back, I think. And if Carolina can somehow replicate what they did against Vegas, I could totally see this being a real competitive game. But I just think the Bengal offense is just going to be too much for the Panthers. And yeah, I have the Bengals unfortunately getting their first win.
It's okay. All right. Speaking of the NFC South, on to another divisional battle. We have the Saints and the Falcons. I can go first in this one. I would like to start by saying I said a lot about the Saints in the past. This week, it's going to be me saying something about the Falcons. Watching the end of that Sunday night football game, the decision making by Raheem Morris and who's the Falcons OC? Zach Robinson? Is that
Zach
it?
Robinson, yep.
Watching the decision making by those two on the sideline to end the game would have made you think that Arthur Smith was still there being the coach of Atlanta. It
Nah.
was pretty bad. So I'm going to go with a little more serious team in this game. I'm going to say the Saints get a W on the road to improve to 3-1. Atlanta, this was supposed to be a year of big aspirations, winning the division. What's happening so far? You guys are looking like the same team as last year, just with a different quarterback. But yeah, give me the Saints.
What are you
Luke,
thinking?
I know where I'm going, I think. Um, if you want me to go.
Go ahead and let's clarify who's the favorite. Would it be the Saints?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a like a
Let's
point and a half in favor of the
let's ask our friends in Vegas.
I'm looking on ESPN NFL right now. And this is not gambling advice, by the way, to anyone watching. Atlanta is actually favored -2.5.
That's what I figured they would be. But
What do you think, Dante?
I'm going to agree with Vegas here. I'm going to disagree with Adam, and I'm going to go with Atlanta. Atlanta put up a good fight against the Chiefs, and you can't argue that the Chiefs, you know, aren't playing their best football as of right now. And you can honestly say the Saints are playing uh, some of the best football in the league, even though they lost last week. They held a very good Eagle offense specifically, to 15 points, which is, I mean, pretty impressive. Um, However, I think Atlanta has more star power, and I honestly think their defense is honestly getting better, even only giving up 22 points to a really good Chiefs offense, probably one of the best offenses in the league. So for that reason, divisional play, this could really go either way. I'm not confident in this at all, but I'm going to go with Atlanta.
Luke?
I am also going with Atlanta. I think that the Saints are going to be a real roller coaster of a team this year, but I think that the Falcons are building something in the right way, in ways that they are going to keep getting consistently better. And they'll fall and they'll look amazing and they'll look awful at times because that's the nature of these teams that spend big but also aren't really built from the inside for the entire team. they kind of patch holes with their money. So it's going to be up and down for them too, but I think that they're going to surprise the Saints with how mature they are. And I don't know. I don't love the way I've described. That all sounded like it made more sense in my head, but I do think that the Falcons are better suited for a matchup like this right now. I think that they play the game. I don't know. I don't like any. I don't like anything it's coming out of my mouth right now. I'm just picking the Falcons.
You see me over here, I'm saying, okay. Y'all really let me
I don't know.
get
I don't know how to.
Hey man, hey Adam, don't act like you weren't, excuse my French, shitting on the Saints a couple weeks
I know, I
ago.
know, I know.
I'm just
But
saying
hey,
you're
this
right.
is
It's like
this is the 1 week a year where I can like the Saints more than a team they're playing because
That's
I
right.
don't like the Falcons.
I'm salty because I went in for it and I said start Derek Carr, pick up Raheed Shaheed, and the two combined for like 7 points. So
It's all right, man. Anthony Richardson got me 7 points, but we'll get
uh,
into that.
yeah,
Y'all are really gonna let me make 2 solo picks here back to back.
yeah, man, we are.
If I'm right. Okay.
It's why you're down there.
Oh, I won't say that.
Okay. Let's move on. Who do we got next? Texans lock of the week. Not gonna waste any time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you. Um,
Yeah.
but but only getting blown out by the Vikings last week was concerning.
I know, but the Texans are I think they're upset from last week, and they get the gift of being upset and playing the 0-3 Jaguars.
Yeah, the Jags are bad. Not bad, but like not
Yeah, they're bad.
they're not great.
They're not a good football
They
team. No.
they were the second team this year to lose 47-10. Welcome to the club, Jacksonville. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how faithful I am in that lock of the week, but I just I mean, can you blame me?
Mm-mm.
So
So we all have the Texans, I assume.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Ready to move on.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Before the season, I would have just dismissed this game, but I'm actually interested in this game now. Broncos and Jets. I was gonna say Texans again. I don't know why. The Broncos, what a week last week. What a shock. Dismantling the Buccaneers on the road. Have a day, Bo Nix. Jets, sorry, Luke. I know they look good on Thursday Night Football. So this game's interesting now. What do we think, guys?
I'll go New York. I still don't have full faith in Bo Nix. And the Jets looked, specifically Aaron Rodgers, looked really good in their most recent game. The best he's looked in a Jet uniform so far. And I mean, props to Bo Nix, props to the Broncos. Um, but I don't know if that's sustainable. Um, yeah. Did he have a passing touchdown? I don't even think he did. I just think he had one rushing touchdown and the defense really carried them um against Tampa Bay. But on the other side, the Jets offensively looked really good and um defensively holding the Patriots who were putting up points in weeks before. It's only three. Luke, I'm sure you'll talk about that because I'm sure you watched that game more intently than I did. But
Mhm.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Jets here. At MetLife too. Yeah.
Yeah, if I may, I'm going with the Jets too. Probably based off of the stomping that they handed down, or should I say, step down on us, which I can get back more into when we play. And there isn't really a lot to say. It was just fundamentally one of the worst games of football I think I've ever played. So,
Let's just say.
there's nowhere else to go from here but up. So, uh, but for the Jets, they looked really good. And yeah, Bo Nix, I don't know where the heck that came from last week, but I would like to see him do it twice before I buy into any sort of narrative. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Sean Payton versus Aaron Rodgers. This will be an interesting chess match. And I do think the Jets are better equipped to take this one.
Cool. Adam?
Yeah, I'll go Jets. Kind of the same reason Dante said. I'm not sure how much I believe in the Broncos hype yet. They had a good week, but I really need to see more before I can buy into it. But I am intrigued. I think this will be an interesting game, but give me the Jets. I believe in them more than I do Denver right now. So,
Cool.
okay, now this is a game I'm really interested in. And, before the season, we were thinking, yeah, JJ McCarthy against Jordan Love. This is going to be a fantastic battle.
No.
Sam Darnold and Malik Willis. Well, okay, maybe Jordan Love can play, but it's looking like Malik Willis. I mean, he's 2-0. Don't rush Jordan Love back until you absolutely have to, I say. But Sam Darnold, 3-0. That is, wow. Good for him.
Yeah.
What do we think? Who's going to win this one?
I know where I'm going.
Go for it.
Go for it.
This is my upset of the week. I'm going Green Bay. Going against the
I'll
Hawks.
allow it. I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Um, Jordan Love could play. That's what I've heard. If he does, I think that's even more of a lock. But Malik Willis has been playing great ball, uh, and I think at Lambeau too. I think the Pack. This is just a game the Packers win in their history. I think their defense is going to step up. But looking at the other side, I mean, it's starting to become undeniable. Um, Sam Darnold looking like I would say vintage Sam Darnold, but this isn't really a Sam Darnold we've seen before. Maybe at USC, but looking like the best football he's played in his career. And Justin Jefferson doing Jefferson things. Aaron Jones, revenge game in this case, played very well last week. But I just feel something in my heart tells me Packers are going to win this game. I don't know what it is, but NFC North is an underrated division in terms of physicality and toughness, in terms of grinding out games and competitive games, and I think this is going to be no exception. Uh, but I do have the Packers winning.
Luke, I know who I'm going if you're still thinking about it.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so before I decided on my pick, I actually looked back. I have a notebook here, it keeps track of everything we do this year. I looked back at previous weeks of the Vikings games, and the only week I've picked them so far is week 1, and that was just because they played the Giants, and I thought they were the better team going in. I haven't actually put my belief in Sam Darnold to win a football game this year yet. I mean, I did week 1, but like I said, that was just because they were playing the Giants. I don't really think that counts. So I'm gonna say screw it and put my belief in Sam Darnold this week and take the Vikings on the road. Hey, I'm gonna ride the hot hand here. Um, if Jordan Love does come back, I feel like there's a chance he could be a little rusty. But if they throw Malik Willis back in there, I mean, one of these two quarterbacks is bound to have a bad game eventually. But I don't know. I feel like this could be a game where they both play excellent football and it comes down to a field goal and maybe Sam Darnold marches him down the field and who even is Minnesota's kicker? Whoever Minnesota's kicker is gets the field goal.
Adam, that is a good point, but you also got to think. I think Sam Darnold's also due to have a bad game
That's
one of
true.
these weeks too.
I was going to say when he was in his first year as a Carolina Panther, we started 3-0 that year. And the game in Dallas, week 4, he I think threw 2 or 3 interceptions. We almost won, but lost. So we'll see. But I think he's gonna have a good game this week. I really do. I'm putting my faith in him.
I hope he does. I'm really rooting for this Viking team, but yeah.
Luke, break the tie here.
Yeah, I am also going to go Green Bay. They This is kind of what I wanted to relay with Atlanta, so I'm falling apart yet again. But I trust them more.
Yeah, that's where
I
I'm.
trust them more. My mistaken, it's in Lambeau,
Yeah,
in Green Bay. The Cheeseheads will be out. There's some divisional bad blood there. Um, yeah, I have a feeling in this one. Sam Darnold, we all enjoy it, but How long is it going to last? I think that Sam Darnold can have a real good year, and I think that he can lose this game. They're not going to go 17-0. Sorry, everybody, but I think they lose their first ball game here. And I think it'll have a lot to do with the rushing attack from Green Bay, Josh Jacobs and Malik Willis himself. Write me down for Green Bay for this one.
I was going to say, I feel like I've told you before, Luke. I think I call Beaver Stadium the Lambeau of college football, but you could also call Lambeau the Beaver Stadium of the NFL just because of the atmosphere.
That's fair. And the build, it's built the same way too.
If you're watching this episode and you're a Penn State football fan and you're going to the game Saturday, wear white.
Yeah.
Amen.
Just saying.
Let's roll.
They're calling for a whiteout.
Whiteout energy.
Yeah, the Illinois coach doesn't know what the heck that is, apparently. So
Yeah.
don't fuck the bear, man.
Let's go.
Okay. Dante, let's get into it. I know what game's next.
Yeah. Steelers going to Indy to play the Colts. And first off, hats off to Justin Fields. I'll start off by saying that. One of his best games as a pro so far. Didn't do anything incredible. Threw a pick, but outside of that, he looked dialed in, confident, was throwing the ball great. But I'm not going to glaze him too hard. It is week 3. My goat. Thank you, Adam.
I had to bring it out. It just came in yesterday.
Oh, mine's in my closet.
Beautiful Justin Fields jerseys, guys.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm thankful that I'm prideful wearing a Justin Fields jersey because he has looked good for the Steelers. But the focal point, we all know the Steeler brand of football, their defense, number 1 ranked in the league through 3 weeks, only giving up like 26 points through 3 weeks, which is just unreal. Gave up -5 yards in the second half of this past Chargers game. Given that some of their players were out, no matter who you're playing, -5 yards. If you're giving up under 0 yards in a half against any team, that's just unreal. And so yeah, very happy with how the Steeler game turned out. 3-0. Not gonna get my head too big because it is a long season, but I like where we're at right now, and let's just keep our foot on the gas and just stack these wins early because honestly, early in the season, it doesn't really matter how you play, but if you could stack wins early on, that's going to help you in November and December. So yeah, very happy with the Steelers. But in this game in particular, Indianapolis comes into this game with the 31st ranked defense and giving up approximately 400 yards per game. I believe it's like 398.6. And going up against the number 1 ranked defense in the league, only giving up about 230 yards per game. Yeah, I think this is going to be Pittsburgh's best offensive game so far on the year, knock on wood. And I think we're going to get to Anthony Richardson. He's going to make some mistakes, and I think Pittsburgh should improve to 4-0. And that feels wild to say. Indianapolis could win this game. It wouldn't surprise me. I am quite scared of Jonathan Taylor, but if we could shut him down like we did J.K. Dobbins, I think Pittsburgh could get out of here with a win, and I think they are. So, Pittsburgh.
Luke, you want me to go or do you want to go?
I got it. Yeah, and to your point, I actually wouldn't be scared of Jonathan Taylor from the Steelers. That's my call for the week is that they're going to shut him down. And I think we all thought, I know we all thought because of how we talked about them in the offseason, that the Colts would be a little bit more exciting than this, but so far they're not. And so I think that the Steelers are going to take this one to, here I go again. I trust them more. I know more about Mike Tomlin. I know more about the way they play their football games. And I think they're going to escape Indianapolis with a hard win, another win that is going to be an ugly win. And I think that you might even see a little bit of a late fourth quarter comeback in there. It might be a little bit of a Anthony Richardson does pull off one of those 60-yard flat-footed bombs and ends up being a touchdown. I don't know. You might see something that surprises you in that game. It might not be as close as you think. What am I saying this week? Forgive me. I don't know what I'm saying this week.
You're good. Hey,
Um,
it's tough to call, man. It really
Like
is.
me every week
no,
on.
I'm just like I just can't form sentences
You're
that make
good.
any sort of sense.
Oh,
Uh,
that is.
I think what I'm saying is the Colts are going to make this a game, whereas I think a lot of people are expecting the Steelers, because of their defense, are going to just run away with this one. And because the Colts have had this cold start. But I do think that Shane Steichen will be able to scheme something up to combat the Steelers defense. But I think that Anthony Richardson, while he will throw himself into pretty good field position a few times, will probably also throw the game away once or twice. And as I said, I wouldn't expect the running backs to be much of a factor in this game. Maybe even for either team.
Cool.
So you going Steelers, Luke?
I am.
Okay. I'll clean sweep. Yeah, I'll go Steelers as well. They've had the better offense, better defense, even the better special teams, and things of that nature, as Tomlin says. Um, so yeah, and when it comes down to the quarterbacks, Justin Fields has played way better football than Anthony Richardson so far. And Anthony Richardson made a lot of turnovers over the last few games. Going up against the Steelers defense, I feel like that could be a recipe for failure for the Colts. They could make it a game, but I'm going to go with my gut here and say Steelers get an easy win. Much better game in Indy than last year, hopefully, if you remember last year's game.
Yeah, we also had Mitch Trubisky starting. So,
Right. I was going to say no Trubisky this year, thank God.
yeah. And Gardner Minshew tore us up. I'll just say that. That was bad. But yeah, if we could shut down Richardson and Taylor, I think we should have this game. Should. I'm not going to be entirely confident, but
It'll be one of those Steeler games, 20-13 win or something
I
like
was
that.
literally thinking 20 to 13. I
They'll get
was.
the job done.
Yeah, we should.
Always do it. So, all right. Rams and Bears. Second to last 1 o'clock game. We've had two teams that maybe haven't looked as great as we thought they have. Rams,
Very,
what
two
a
very
comeback last
confusing
week.
teams.
Yeah, two very confusing teams. Caleb Williams, maybe not off the hottest start. Um, man, I think I know who I'm going, but I'm not sure. Either of you guys know?
I know. Want me to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I think I know
Uh,
too.
Rams beat the 49ers. Rams could beat the Bears. I'll go with the Rams. We could try to get into the intricacies of stuff, but the Bears don't look good. Their offensive line is god awful, one of the worst in the league. And Caleb Williams is running for his life out there. Um, if the Rams put any kind of pressure on that offensive line, it's going to break eventually. And I think, once again, Luke, like we've been saying this whole show, I trust the Rams more, and I trust Sean McVay over Matt Eberflus way more. And I bet if you surveyed every NFL fan, they'd agree with me. But yeah, I'm going with the Rams here.
Okay, yeah, so am I. I was on the fence a tiny bit, but that convinced me, and in large part due to the fact that I've been severely underwhelmed by the Bears offense. And I don't really think that it's a problem. I think that the expectations were far too high. Um, for one, I'm not a big believer in some of the pieces they brought in. I don't think Keenan Allen is worth as much as they're paying him now at his age. I don't think that Caleb Williams is going to light the world on fire in his first year, like a lot of people were saying he was going to, but he shouldn't be expected to. Whereas the Rams, they beat the 49ers. I say these are two of the most confusing teams because they beat the 49ers just a week after they got um, destroyed by Arizona, who then lost to Detroit, who the Rams took to overtime. So there's a bit of interesting parity in the league that doesn't quite make sense. So maybe this game could go either way, but I think that the Rams know what they're doing to a level that the Bears are still trying to put pieces together and put different combinations on the field. And Keenan Allen is just coming back after missing some time, and it's only week 4. So I think they're going to be just a bit too much of a mess to win a game like this. Even at home, I think it's going to be not a good look on the Bears.
I agree.
Yeah. Everything I've heard from Bears fans is that Shane Waldron is apparently the second coming of Matt Canada. So For that reason, I will go the Rams. Like Dante said, if they can beat the 49ers, given a very banged up 49ers team, but still a good 49ers team, then I think they should have no problem handling the Bears. So
I think that banged up 49er team is still better than this fully healthy Bears team.
I agree.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, on to our last 1 o'clock game, and perhaps maybe the toughest one to predict. Man, we've got the Eagles and the Buccaneers, a rematch of last year's not AFC, NFC. I was going to say American League. I'm thinking two sports here, guys. Last year's NFC wildcard game, where Tampa manhandled the Eagles, given that was a different Eagles team. I am back and forth. I kid you not. I thought I knew who I was going with going into this episode. Now I don't. So if you guys know who you are going with, I am fine going last for this game.
Luke, you can go if you know.
Yeah, the Eagles are a mess. They are a dumpster fire right now. And I think they'll figure it out because they're the Eagles and Jalen Hurts are paying way too much money to way too many people to not figure it out. And Saquon Barkley is inevitable. And that offensive line, while now having some question marks, is still one of the better in the league. But really, I know they pulled out a win against the Saints, but it wasn't pretty. They they tried to hand the Saints that game as much as possible. They are a wreck, and I think that the Buccaneers are going to just take complete advantage of that at home. I'm calling for an offensive storm on the Eagles. I'm wondering if the game will be close, and I could be dead wrong, but I think that there's a good chance I'm right, and so I'm going to be bold about that and call it and claim it if I am right.
Alrighty.
Dante, you know?
I think so. On my paper right now, I have the Eagles circled. I think Luke just convinced me. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay. For all the reasons Luke just said. AJ Brown still out. Who knows if he's gonna be playing? And if he is, he probably still won't be 100%. But the Eagles do have many offensive weapons. Um, the only thing that's holding me back from completely believing in the Bucks is that ugly loss to Denver last week. Um,
It's odd, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
if that didn't happen, probably would have picked the Bucks pretty easily here, but that's one thing that held me back. Um, yeah, this is a tough one, but I think Luke convinced me to go with Tampa Bay.
I feel like it's gonna be a wake up call. The Cowboys and the Eagles are both playing some very, excuse my language, but throw shit at the wall and see what sticks type of
Yeah,
football.
yeah,
Saquon has bailed out the Eagles more than once, and he and the speaking on their alliance they have with him, the one time he dropped a touchdown, they completely lost. I mean, the entire game was in his hands. So yes, that speaks to what that moment was, but it also speaks to their reliance on him being as dominant as he's going to be. And he is that player. We all know that. We all love him. But you can't put that many miles on somebody's legs who's already 27 or 28 or whatever he is and expect him to will you to a win every single week, um especially on the road down in the heat when you're from Philly in a conference matchup. It's not a winning formula often enough. And I think this game's going to be a wake up call.
cool.
What do you think, Adam?
Okay, so man, I was still on the fence, but I think I finally made a decision. Listening to you guys still didn't convince me. I went to ESPN, I looked at the betting lines, still didn't convince me. Then I scrolled down and I saw something called the injury report. And I looked under the Eagles. Dallas Goedert, questionable. Devontae Smith, questionable. AJ Brown, questionable. Britton Covey's on IR. Lane Johnson is questionable. That's a lot of red flags for me to go with Philadelphia in this one. I'll go with the Bucks, but I'm
I,
nervous.
I did not expect a clean sweep. I honestly also forgot about Devontae Smith, so that makes me even more confident about Tampa now. Wow, cool.
Yeah. Did it say who's favored in this game, Adam?
It says Philly is actually favored
And
minus
I'll
two.
make that my upset of the week then.
Okay.
I feel good about it.
Yeah, I think that's a good upset of the week. Both teams are 2-1, but people can say Philadelphia is the better team. I also don't think Baker loses 2 games in a row at home. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think they realized last week can't happen again. So, anyways, let's move on. Luke?
Yeah, so I uh began to roll open the window into my thoughts on last week a couple minutes ago. Excuse me, I wasn't kidding when I said that was probably the worst fundamental game maybe ever played. Especially in this new era of Patriots football, and by that I'll go back a couple years, so after Tom Brady. It was pitiful. And I know that's exactly what the Jets wanted. And honestly, it's not even that bad of a thing because after that, something like that happens, and to quote both Jacoby Brissett and Peppers and Mayo, they all basically just went out in the press conference and said, "We just got our asses handed to us." And so when that happens, you have to take a step back and look at what's really working and throw some stuff out the window that isn't working. So that being said, I wish that on the bus ride back home, they would open up the windows and push all the offensive linemen out onto the road. But I guess you can't really do that.
Hey.
That would put you in jail for quite a few reasons. But they would probably still be more useful on the ground than they would be up in the air on their 2 feet trying to block because they couldn't block for shit this week. Again, excuse my language. I don't like swearing, but the
Okay.
offensive line, it was just a revolving door. Um, I've been saying this stat all week to people who will listen. The Patriots allowed at least a QB pressure, not including hits and the 7 sacks, which there are 10 and 7 of them, on 60% of dropbacks, a pressure on 60% of dropbacks. Now the league average for that is about 25%, and they say at 40%, the quarterback pretty much has no chance. So 60%, we might as well have been playing with no offensive line. Um, that and the fact that Aaron Rodgers wouldn't allow any pressure to get to him. He just picked us apart. He knew everything we were about to throw at him before we threw it at him. Our defense was leaving holes on the field all night, and he was just diamond and dinking, and he was, he was tearing us apart all night, and it was ugly, and we got destroyed. And we are probably going to lose this week too. I will pick the 49ers. Although I think somehow this is actually a better matchup for us than the Jets were last week, just because of the health situation for the 49ers. But let's be honest, we're looking no better right now. Still waiting on Kendrick Bourne. Bentley's out for the year. Our offensive line is so awful that we won't even put Drake May in. He got in for like 4 minutes, and he threw a nice pass, and they could have. There was like 30 seconds left in the fourth, and they could have hurried up and went for a touchdown and made the score more respectable. And if they had done that in just 3 minutes of seeing the field, Drake May would have led the NFL rookies in touchdowns thrown. Well, until Jaden Daniels, but I it's something when our team is so bad, at least our offensive line, that you tell me you guys should test out your third overall pick, your rookie quarterback, right? I said no, I wouldn't. I would not want to throw him in right now. Heck no, I'm not exposing him to that. As far as I'm concerned, we need to start working on concepts for a statue for Jacoby Brissett. For He is a hero, taking those hits instead of Drake May. Yeah, we owe him a lot. We'll see that in Drake May's progression later on this year, and I do believe we'll see him sooner than later. But as things stand, I'm going the 49ers.
I can go next. Um, yeah, Luke, sorry about the game last week. I know you're pain of rough football games. I've had to watch plenty of them myself, especially through the last 2 seasons. And unfortunately, I will be going the 49ers as well. And I say unfortunately this week because, I like the 49ers, but I also want to see the Patriots do well. This was nearly my lock of the week. No offense, Luke, but I ended up going with the Texans as that because, the Jaguars suck. I genuinely think the Patriots may be a better team than the Jaguars right now. That could be a stretch, but all in all, I will be going the 49ers in this one, especially because it's in San Francisco. So,
Yeah, I'll go with San Francisco as well.
All right, fair enough.
okay. Moving on. This game is interesting. I've said that about a lot of games this week, but this one in particular. Wow. Commanders and Cardinals. The Commanders are a good team? Question mark. Jaden Daniels. Do we believe the hype? I think so. Luke, you have picked the Cardinals 3 straight weeks. I'm curious to see if you make it a fourth. Do you want to start?
Actually, I do not want to start. I'm undecided.
Okay.
I'll,
Does
Dante?
anybody know?
Dante's knows. All right, go Dante.
I'm going Commanders. Jane Daniels looks filthy, throwing absolute bombs against the Bengals. He's been the best rookie quarterback so far. And I finally think he's putting it together, throwing the football. We don't know how he is with his legs. Just a beast. Um, I don't know. I just like them way more in this game. However, I do think it's going to be close. Marvin Harrison could have another legacy game. Uh, Kyler could be good. Um, but Arizona's defense is not. They're not great. And I think Jane Daniels is going to take advantage of that. And he's going to have a second solid game in a row. So yeah, I'll go with the commies.
I actually do know who I'm picking now,
Go for it.
and I'm going Arizona. Um, Partly because the uh Commanders allowed 30 some points to an otherwise completely dormant Bengals offense. Um, Along with, I'm going to bring it up again, a really, really easy 90-second drive at the end of the game. I get it. They were down 2 scores. There was no way Bengals were going to come back and win that game. But the Commanders' defense can be picked apart. And we're looking at two quarterbacks that are very similar, Kyler Murray and Jaden Daniels, in their play styles. Um, we're looking at reliable weapons all over the field. Marvin Harrison Jr., Terry McLaurin, James Conner, Brian Robinson now. I think because Austin Eckler, I believe, is out this week, or at least questionable. Brian Robinson could be a big game for him. But I like the Cardinals at home, and I think that Dan Quinn, who in just his fourth game now with the Commanders, is going to get outcoached in this one. Um, I think that, yeah, I think Kyler Murray throws 2 or more touchdowns. I like the Cardinals at home.
First game me and Luke disagreed on all episode.
I noticed that, yeah. And this was close too, so
Yeah.
Who do I agree with here? This is actually really, really, really tough. Gotta look at ESPN real quick. I want to see who's favored. I want to see who's possibly hurt. I
Bro's
know
acting like his life is on the line for this decision.
Luke was just giving a whole spiel about people who are probably hurt, but I want to see. Okay.
I think Trey McBride's questionable.
Cardinals are favored. Yeah, Trey McBride is questionable. Hmm. Oh no, Marcus Mariota's on IR. Okay. I've made a decision. Arizona.
That's fine.
All right.
I'm cool with that.
All right. This one I feel like we should have an easy time with.
Chiefs lock of the week.
All right.
Yeah. Lock of the week. That stadium's gonna be full of red.
Plus Herbert may not play.
Herbert's questionable. J.K. Dobbins got brought back down to reality a little bit. This is probably going to be a home game for the Chiefs. We know how SoFi Stadium works.
Bosa came out of the game early against the Steelers.
Mhm.
Won.
The annual Joey Bosa injury, huh? Hate to see it.
I will say,
Annual, the weekly, I'd say.
Probably.
I will say, Chiefs boring.
More.
They
Yeah.
don't excite me at all. one of the more boring champion, like
Honestly, I respect them more.
best teams.
I
You
respect them
respect
more. They just
you
play good
respect
football.
them more. And I don't know. I was talking to people this week, like, what happened to when we were kids and like some random quarterback would come in and it would be somebody every week was like 450 yards, 5 touchdowns,
Yeah.
40, 50 passing. And especially I follow an account called Random Tom Brady Highlights where every other day it's like week 11, 2007 at Tennessee, 520 yards, 50 for 60 passing, 6 touchdowns. Like what? That doesn't happen anymore.
Doesn't.
So I just think the Chiefs are, you know, you make a wrestling analogy, kind of how the the WWE champion is supposed to be like the best entertainer, the face of the WWE. The Chiefs are a boring face of the NFL right now. Like, and it kind of stinks because they were this last year too, and so I can't just count them out. But that was my little rant. They're still my lock of the week. But
Yeah.
because I'm already being kind to them, I figured I would just vent about how boring they are.
True.
The Chiefs are boring because they're doing what they have to do, and they're doing a good job of it. But yeah, I think they'll win this game pretty easily. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
This is the game of the week right here. Just kidding. Two teams that this could be a close battle, not for the reason people are excited for. Two teams that looked awful last week.
Who did the Browns beat?
You should know. You were the only one to pick them.
I don't remember.
New York Giants.
No,
No,
they
who
lost
did
to
the
the
Browns
Giants.
beat?
Oh, who did the Browns beat?
The
Oh, I'm
Jags.
sorry.
The
Jackson.
Jags.
Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. That makes sense.
I thought you meant who did they lose to last week? My bad.
Yeah.
They beat Jacksonville.
Is Deshaun Watson back? No.
No.
I could start if you guys want.
Sure.
The most feared sentence in the lounge of every massage parlor is Deshaun Watson back?
Is Deshaun Watson out of jail?
Quick, lock the doors.
I'm more afraid of Deshaun Watson on the street than on the football field.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
All right. I'll take the Raiders, but I'm not confident in that at all. If I was going to pick the Browns, I wouldn't be confident in that at all either, to be fair.
I'm picking the Raiders and I'm confident.
I'm picking the Raiders and I'm confident.
Let's go.
All right, so clean sweep. Hey, I will say, do you guys realize what we just did and how well it's gone in the past?
Hey. Oh,
With the iron clean sweep for the Raiders.
oh no.
Well,
If you don't know by now, the history is every single time all of us pick the Raiders, we're wrong.
This
All
is
of
the
the
year.
time.
This is not the year. This is the week. This is like people waiting on the Yohan Moncada breakout year.
And it would be
It
one thing
will
if we did it
happen.
like, and it'd be one thing if it would happen like twice or three times. No, this like happens frequently,
Yeah,
like legitimately, like every other week.
this is the time.
Yeah. No, but we're right this time. We're right this time.
nothing has convinced me to pick Cleveland, so it has to be.
Yeah.
Nothing's really convinced me to pick the Raiders either. I just
Not at all,
yeah,
actually.
no.
Not in the slightest bit.
I think they have the better quarterback. I do.
Would you take,
Yes.
I know you'd take Minshew. Would you take Aiden O'Connell over Deshaun?
Probably not, no. But actually, I don't know. Flip a coin. I don't know.
That's a discussion for another week.
Bro has Justin Fields for 3 weeks and gets the biggest balls of all time. My fault.
Okay.
Now this game. Holy shit.
I know who I'm going with, but
Okay, go for it.
Buffalo.
Mm,
I get it's the Ravens, but you can call us a hot take. I think the Bills have been the best team in the NFL through 3 weeks. They've looked fantastic.
I agree.
Josh Allen has made it look like losing Stephon Diggs was not a problem at all. They can literally put Cole Beasley in 2024 clone 4 times on that wide receiver room, and Josh Allen would be 3-0 still.
Cole Beasley, what a pull.
Hey, he's a Bills legend,
He
so
is a Bill. He honestly is. Anyway,
great American.
yeah. Great rapper. If you didn't know, Cole Beasley rapped.
Really?
He has an
I
album out, and it's like not
gotta,
bad.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, I gotta find
I personally could have gone my entire life without knowing that, but
it. Yeah. Anyway, I know who I'm going, unless you want to go, Luke.
so do I, but go ahead.
Um, I'm gonna go Baltimore. Buffalo comes into this game allowing 118 yards per game on the ground, um, averaging just under 5 yards per carry. Bills' run defense has not been great, and what do the Ravens do real well, especially Derrick Henry, um, run the ball. Um, at home, I think Baltimore will be ready, and I think they're going to win this game. I think everybody's uh, thoughts about the Bills are getting, inflated, and everybody's like, the Bills are the best team in the league. They just blew out the Jaguars at one of the toughest places to play. I'm not. Do I think the Bills are a good team? Absolutely. I think they'll be competing for the AFC Championship and probably losing to the Chiefs again. But that's besides the point. They're a great team. Josh Allen has been the best quarterback in the league so far, but their run defense does scare me. And Derrick Henry, he should have a game in Baltimore. So I'm going with the Ravens.
Luke,
Yeah, Dante convinced me, actually.
Let's go.
wow.
Yeah.
I'm fine being the only one to pick Buffalo. Fine by me.
Yeah, and I'm high on Buffalo this year. I know my division. I knew they would be fine. In fact, I saw uh a pretty good meme on Twitter this morning. Um, what would make the better offense? Multiple time Pro Bowl wide receiver whining in Josh Allen's ear, or four of Josh's friends.
I saw that. That was so funny.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And as it turns out, four of Josh's friends are doing just fine. Um, so this game could go either way. I'll put it like this: you were right when with your reaction to the game. It'll be one to watch. But you convinced me. I didn't know that stat about how many yards they allowed on the ground, and the Ravens are going to be hungrier, I think, especially at home in prime time for a statement win.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Now, game of the week here. I mean,
Snooze fest of the week, in my opinion.
yeah.
Will
Yeah.
Levis continued his unimaginably record-setting silliness streak.
What was it even this week?
Like he tried to throw a pass while getting pancaked by two different guys, I think. I'll try to come up with a photo.
I
If
think it
you
was
still
incomplete,
don't,
luckily.
if you still don't know what we're talking about, if you still don't know what we're talking about, Will Levis every single week has a new like iconically awful photo. Here's this week. He's on the ground with a defensive lineman completely on top of him, and the
Oh,
ball is inexplicably in the air. I'm not sure how.
that's yeah. Who's there? Who's there? Brian Callahan. That poor guy, man.
Yeah, Will Levis is the gift that keeps on giving. He's on a generational run of just tomfoolery, and not really in a good way.
Dude, I was so high on him coming into this year. I thought he was gonna be good.
Well, boy, do I have news for you. I am going to Titans this week.
Wow.
Dude, the Dolphins could lose out until Tua comes back. They just might.
Damn.
I'll make I'll make that my upset of the week.
Okay.
Screw whatever else I said.
Well, you had it as Tampa over Philly. Do you want me to cross that out?
Yeah, this is a much better one.
Dude, upset of the week for this. It's like the guy on the bottom of the podium popping the champagne. No one gives a shit.
Yeah, this is kind of the irrelevant game, but the Dolphins Tyreek Hill losing to I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll go
The
Miami.
Titans are 0-3, so
They are. They are. But I'll go Miami here. I really have no reason, but I could see Tennessee win this game, but I like Miami.
Can both teams lose? Seriously.
This could
and
be a
maybe they
tie.
can tie. They can tie.
You're gonna call
I am not pulling a Josh Knapp. Shout out
I
Knapp.
was gonna
Love
say.
Knapp, but
Didn't he do
I'm
that
not
once?
pulling a Josh Knapp and
Did,
predicting a tie.
Yeah.
which is not.
Never let that guy on the show ever again.
I'll give you a
Gosh.
spoiler alert though. I thought about it. Look, this is going to be the third straight week of me picking Tennessee, but my God, if they lose this week, I may never pick the Titans again.
Yeah.
They better get it right this week, or else I'm going to be mad.
There was a Monday night game last year between these two teams in
And
Miami.
Tennessee won that game. I
It was
remember
real good. It was a real good game.
Tennessee
was.
weren't they down 2 scores like 3 minutes left?
They were. That was like the one of the like two Will Levis masterclass games of last year.
Yeah.
So, I'm solely picking Tennessee just because. Look, Will Levis is not that bad of a quarterback. He makes mistakes he makes mistakes, they're really bad ones, but he can make plays. He's just got to make plays. There is not a single quarterback on the Dolphins right now that I believe in. I don't believe in Skylar Thompson. I don't believe in the Pro Bowler, Tyler Huntley. So I'll go with the Titans.
Cool.
All right.
Much better game.
I know who I'm going for this game if you guys don't.
So do
I
I.
do, but you could go.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
So there is one thing I remember specifically about the Seahawks in the last 2 seasons. They've either been better than I expected or worse than I expected. But one thing was the same in both of those seasons. Geno Smith has won when he's gone to Detroit. And I don't think that's going to change. The Lions are banged up right now. They have a ton of injuries. They have the blackout game on Monday night. The Lions are wearing their black alternates. But if there's anyone who could go into Detroit and beat the Lions, it's Geno Smith. Seattle's going to be 4-0.
Luke?
I agree. From my first-hand perspective of the Seahawks week 2, they're for real. I was wrong about them in the offseason. And teams should have reason to be scared of them. DK Metcalf has scored a long touchdown in 2 straight weeks. Geno Smith has been sharp. Zach Charbonnet has been a revelation for them. And that defense has been tough. And
Can I add one thing? Sorry to interrupt you, Luke.
I'm done pretty much. Just go
Okay.
Seahawks.
Not that this impacts anyone's pick. I believe Kenneth Walker is supposed to be back for this game.
Either way, I think.
Again, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Dante?
I'll gladly be the only one going Detroit here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone's got to pick Detroit. So.
Yeah. This is the episode of trust. And I trust Detroit more.
I don't trust Tennessee, but I'm picking Tennessee.
Totally. Yeah.
I don't trust Vegas either.
I don't trust Miami, but yeah. I don't have any graphic to end this like last week, but anyway.
I forgot. Wait, what was it last week?
Dude, it was like a bunch of ugly AFC North fans.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Oh yeah. Luke, do we have a stardom sit-up?
Yeah, I do have a
Dante,
I won't tell you what.
Never mind.
I won't tell you how it went last week. I'll just tell you that week 1, I considered 9 out of my 12 picks to be good. Thumbs up. Week 2, I flipped that, or week 3 rather. So we're sitting at 500 right now. So when it comes to my advice, coin flip. But I'm hoping to get back on track. So I'm hoping to get back on track, and I'm going to start by telling you to start Kyler Murray against Washington. Like I said, it could be another shootout. They let a dormant Cincinnati put up 30 points, however many. Could be a shootout at home. Kyler. Sit Bo Nix is kind of a layup, but I have some bold picks this week, so I'm going to take this layup. I know he had a good game, but do not do it. You're more than likely to regret it. Don't start him. And pick up Sam Darnold, actually. He's still only rostered in 32% of leagues, and that's plus 27% this past week. So he is a better option right now than like your Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins of the world. So I would pick up Sam Darnold. Now here's where we get into some of the really, really bold ones. For running backs, I would start Devon Achane. I just have a weird gut feeling that he's going to find the end zone. The Dolphins could be getting blown out. He's going to find the end zone. They could be winning big. He's going to find the end zone. It could be a even close game, I think he's going to find the end zone. I just have that. I just have one of those feelings. Ride the feeling. And same thing for, I would say, sit Jonathan Taylor. I don't think the Steelers defense is going to give him anything. I really don't. I think it's going to be one of those weeks where you're like, what the heck? He has 2 points. It certainly happened to me last week with Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah, I would sit Jonathan Taylor. That was my first real bold pick of the year. And for waiver wire pickup, Braylon Allen of the Jets. Rookie went viral on Twitter this past week for someone saying, how did they let him slip to the fourth round? And he responded, all these teams wanted to see me naked before they knew for sure they wanted to draft me. So he fell to the Jets in the fourth round, and they've been using him. He's averaging 10 points a game, almost 11, and he's rostered in 40% of the league, so that's plus like 33%. So go get him before someone else does. Could be a decent flex option. Another kind of bold pick or two here. Actually, really, wow, I'm looking at these picks like I said this, but I did. Start Mike Evans. He had a bad game last week, but I said what I said about the Bucks, and I'm gonna stand on business. I think he finds the end zone. And I said to start Adolph earlier with Devon Achane, but I am going to tell you to sit Tyreek Hill, who might have been 1.1 in your league. Doesn't matter. Don't care. Sit him. I that's what I would do this week. He had a big stinker last week. I was right about Jalen Waddle too, but Tyreek Hill somehow did even worse. He was a non-factor. These quarterbacks that aren't these backup caliber quarterbacks in the league can't get the ball to him. He's too fast. They underthrow his targets, or they don't throw it to him at all, or he's too short for some of these backup quarterbacks. Tyreek Hill is not a good. He's not a good idea right now until Tua comes back. But waiver wire pickup, Adam, you like this? I said Deontay Johnson. He had 27 points with Andy Dalton. So we'll see if that continues into this week. It might not. But if it does, you're going to want to jump on this before anybody else does, especially because he's already rostered in like 87% of leagues. So if he's left, I would jump on it. And tight end, a few more that I simply can't believe him saying, but start Mike Gesicki versus Carolina. Burrow really likes him. Inexplicably, he really likes him. He probably already has more yards in the first 3 weeks than he had last year with Patriots in total. Yeah, he's coming off of week 2, I remember because they announced it at the Penn State game. He had like 10 receptions for like 170 yards or something. And so, for some reason known to Joe Burrow and God alone, Joe Burrow really likes him. And here we go again. I'm going to do this to you. Sit Travis Kelce. Until further notice, here's your warning. Sit Travis Kelce. Not a good idea to start him. He is either checked out or even worse, he is not a big part of this Kansas City offense anymore, who is 3-0. They don't need him to be a big part of the offense, apparently. So until further notice, do it. Sit Travis Kelce. You're only hurting yourself if you don't. And if you need a replacement, go get Cole Kmet off the waiver wire. He's only rostered in half the leagues, and he averages 11.3. He had 26 last game. Caleb is going to like him. Caleb just had a good game, and he's going to be reliable for him. What else more could you need? Trust me, sit Travis Kelce.
Dude, expanding off your Cole Kmet take, he was pretty much Fields' number one target. I mean, between him and DJ Moore, whenever Fields was in Chicago, Kmet was getting fed, dude. He's underrated. I like Cole Kmet a lot.
Dude, young QBs and tight ends, almost always a good idea.
Yeah, totally. Is
That's all I got.
Cool. My bold prediction of the week. Justin Fields, 3 total touchdowns.
Total touchdown. Got it.
I could see him rushing. I could see him rushing for 1, and I could see him throwing 2. That's what I think.
Cool.
Maybe 1 to Pickens, and
I could see him taking back a kick for 6.
Shut up.
maybe like a slip screen route to Najee or Warren or something.
Really special.
I'm gonna go Muth gets his first. And
I thought about saying start Moose. I got a feeling for that too.
I'm gonna go Muth gets a receiving touchdown. Roman Wilson scores in his first game. And
is he active?
I think so.
Good.
And Fields gets a rushing touchdown. So
I like it. I like it.
we score 3 touchdowns in a game. We haven't done that in a very long time. I think against the Bengals last year was like the last time we did that. But
That was such a wild game.
yeah,
Such a good game, though.
yeah. Also, Titans start about start thinking about starting Mason Rudolph because why not? He's
Yeah.
so
And we like Will Levis, but we wouldn't mind that either. That'd be
yeah.
entertaining.
Tennessee
Levis
finished
left.
0-4 this
Levis
year.
transferred. He could fail. Who cares? He transferred.
We all three of us know that is on James Franklin.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, but Sean Clifford was all right, and then we got Drew Aller, who's good.
I mean, I can't necessarily blame him, but anyways.
Hey, Sean Clifford never beat Ohio State. Will Levis never would have beat Ohio State either. I hate to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Saying.
Whatever.
Drew Aller's going to be 0-2 against Ohio State very soon.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Will Howard. Will Howard. He's gonna be feeling the presence of Abdul Carter and what's his name? Tony Rojas. You just wait. You just wait.
Tyler Warren is about to
Tyler Warren.
He is good.
He's a
watch
beast.
out next year or in 2 years for me telling you to start Tyler Warren in fantasy.
Oh, dude, yeah.
One
Is
hand catch this past week.
is Penn State turning into tight end U? Probably not. Definitely not. Because it's
Actually,
still Iowa. It's still Iowa, but dude, Gesicki, Fryermuth, Brenton Strange, who's not bad.
Theo Johnson, Giants.
Yeah. Theo Johnson. Yeah.
Brenton Strange like almost made the tackle on DeMar Hamlin's pick, so
Almost.
I know he's still in the league.
It's the thought that counts.
DeMar Hamlin lived for something. I'm
Trevor
sorry.
Lawrence, the first person to ever throw an interception to a dead man walking.
That does it for this episode.
That
Bill-
doesn't,
The
yeah.
Bills are making some risky decisions, quoting me. They're starting DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop.
First up for
All right.
DeMar Hamlin. But
But
anyway,
All right. Hey, go all our teams this week.
go Steelers, baby. Go Panthers, go Pats. Let's do it.
yeah,
This has been Adam.
Dante.
and Luke, I hope you listened to the end of this one. It got a little interesting.
Yeah.
We'll catch y'all next week.
Peace out.
We will. Peace.